Oh man, so check this out. So you heard about the like the Christian concert that they did up in Seattle where the Antifa people came out and started throwing water balloons and assaulting people and all kinds of stuff. Y'all, that pastor came out and said those weren't water balloons actually. They were urine filled. What the hell is wrong with these people? Y'all, like the video, subscribe if you're new. Check this out.
Russell Johnson is the lead pastor of the Pursuit Northwest Church, and he helped organize both events in Seattle. And he joins us now. Pastor, it's good to see you tonight. Tell us what you saw and heard when things began to develop into chaos and unrest.
Yeah, it was crazy. It started on Saturday with a worship event in Cal Anderson Park. And that event has, of course, been labeled by the media as some sort of anti-LGBT type rally, and it wasn't. That event offered free haircuts to kids, free bike giveaways, free groceries for the community, free prayer for people who were in need of it, and then it also incorporated a worship element at the end of that outreach, and that was when we were swarmed by...
Check it out. This is the party of tolerance right there. Look at that lady.
Was when we were swarmed by hundreds of Antifa militants, and I'll only correct one thing in the reporting of your story. They weren't throwing water balloons. They were throwing water balloons filled with urine at Christians who stood in the park and were assaulted for the high crime of worshiping Jesus in a public space. So that happened on Saturday, and then the mayor followed it up. An hour after that event ended, police officers were hospitalized, good church people were injured. He followed that up with a press statement blaming the church for the violence and saying that we are advocating values that are antithetical to Seattle's values. Yeah. So at that moment, I decided...
What the hell? That is crazy.
Yeah, Pastor, I'm sorry to interrupt, but a local Fox reporter spoke to one of the protesters to give viewers some context about where they're coming from, about what exactly they took issue with. Check this out.
Today was a very good example of two sides of people trying to be heard. On one side, I saw a lot of hatred.
Yeah, exactly. Y'all.
These people that tell us they love us are showing us the opposite.
She's dressed like a rabbit with a slit eye thing. I don't really get that. But you heard her point that you guys hate them. They feel put upon, and they were just expressing themselves.
Yeah, Antifa is made up of petulant children who are grievance mongers, who decide to perpetuate violence against people that they disagree with. And of course, in a place like Seattle, they are coddled and supported by people like Mayor Bruce Harrell. Their voices are amplified by liberal news outlets like the Seattle Times. And in doing so, it creates a perfect storm that results in violence against people of faith, police officers, and others. And so after the mayor put out his statement and blamed us for the violence, I said, we're taking the rally to the front steps of City Hall.
That is crazy, y'all. They blamed the church. They blamed the people that were just doing like the free haircuts and they had a concert going and worship or whatever like that. They blamed them. They said it was their fault.
And that's exactly what we did on Tuesday. And similar things happened. Antifa was out in force. They bloodied and beat up good church people who stood in line to try to get into a rally to sing hymns and worship songs and pray for the direction of the city. And the mayor put out a second statement, even worse than the first. And he said, well, the only reason you're rallying at City Hall is because you are opposed to the idea that I am biracial.
What the hell does that mean? Oh my God, that is such nonsense.
I mean, it's a clown show with these leftist agitator supporting politicians who are so out of touch with, I think, a wide swath of their constituents. And I think Mayor Bruce Harrell terminated his political career by releasing those statements. There was a show of force. Thousands came out to City Hall.
Yeah, well, I scanned the crowd in the videos that I got access to, and it was a very diverse crowd. I mean, I don't understand the biracial comment at all, because there seemed to be a lot of Hispanic folks there. There were some African American folks, white people, young, old.
Yeah, because if they don't like something, you know, if somebody like that doesn't like something, they just immediately go to that. Well, it's because I'm this. Well, it's because I'm that. No. It's because you're crazy.
A lot of families. Part of what the rally was about, I thought, was the concern about the transgenderizing our youth, correct? Wasn't that part of it?
Yeah, and it included testimonies from parents. It included testimonies from people who have detransitioned after succumbing to trans ideology. And it was shared in the context of uplifting, hopeful, God can change anything. Jesus has the power to transform your life. So it wasn't this, Westboro Baptist hateful rhetoric. It was people sharing a hopeful, optimistic outlook on what it looks like when God begins a work in your life.
That's the crazy part too, is that they get mad as hell when people are saying like, oh, you can talk about this kind of stuff, maybe this is something that you don't need to do, and they're like, oh my God, this is hateful. But it's like, they'll say the same thing on the opposite side and try to be like, well, it's okay. Your true self is this or something like that. And it's like, so one side it's okay to do, but then when the other side says, you know what, maybe just think about things, they're like, oh my God, throw pee at them. This is ridiculous. Huh?
Christians welcome in Seattle, in your view, to publicly express their views if they're traditionally held?
No, clearly not. And in fact, the mayor put that in his statement. He said in the future, he is going to deny religious groups the ability to pull permits.
Well, that's illegal.
To hold similar worship-themed events in public places.
Well,
which
he
is,
said
by
he's
the
a
way,
Christian.
now.
Yeah, but he says, look, I'm a Christian, and he said First Amendment rights do need to be upheld, and that's why you were able to go to the park. That was a park that had been dedicated in some way to the LGBTQ cause, and that kind of made them upset. But you got the permit to do it where you did it, and it wasn't even your first choice. I know that's too much information for most people, but he's pushing back on you. He said they
got upset. Okay, that's what the First Amendment's supposed to do.
Did get to speak. They did have 2 rallies, and now they're whining about it, basically.
Yeah, after Antifa hospitalized people, after people got hit in the face with urine-filled balloons, after Antifa members performed loot acts in front of children getting free haircuts. Yes, after paying a massive price for the high crime of exercising our First Amendment rights, yes, we were allowed to have some sort of event. And the mayor is so out of touch with the people. And you're right, that rally was super diverse, because here's what happened. When we announced that we were taking this to the front steps of City Hall, I got inundated with emails and texts and DMs from people who are not Christian and not conservative, who were outraged at the mayor's response, who said, you know what, we're going to come stand with Christians at City Hall because we believe in the First Amendment.
Well, this is what Seattle voted for. So you had the demilitarized zone, you had the Chaz, you had all this.
God, I almost forgot about that. Embarrassing footnote on American history.
So this is what the people of Seattle voted for. It's a beautiful city, spectacular natural resources, beautiful. Right? But this cannot continue. Pastor, thank you for sharing your story. We'll stay on this.
Yeah, that is crazy. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, do all the things. I'll catch you guys on